they are really making that child feel confident, comfortable, and secure in that environment, make that child feel like they're cared for and they're part of a broader community. And I think that sense of belonging that KCS creates is honestly priceless.
I'm Agnes Stowicki, Managing Editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private and independent schools to bring you insights into school programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administration. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
For us as a family, it was very much based on geography at the time. We started our son in the school when he was 2.5. And at the time, KCS had a PK class, and we live within about 2-3 kilometers of the school. So that was one of the first reasons we opted to take a look at it. And then once we got there, to be honest, they made it very, very straightforward, very simple. We had a very warm welcome from the admissions administrator at the time. Took a lot of time to answer all of our questions with respect to the school culture, the ethos, the philosophy of the teachers, and all of those things really resonated with the kind of atmosphere that we wanted our son to enter into, especially because he was so young at the time. Oh, he loves it. Obviously, you know, as a 2.5-year-old, it's different. Like, it's the first time that he was in a non-home environment, so there was obviously a learning curve. But even then, and every year since, I've appreciated the warmth and the patience with which all the teachers have kind of helped to make him comfortable. In the early years, especially, like, everyone was aware that he was one of the youngest, and they honestly took so much time in trying to make him feel comfortable, reassuring us, and that, as a parent, was a huge, huge comfort for me. And since then, he's just grown. He's become very familiar with the surroundings, and it's just an incredibly supportive and nurturing environment. And I would say never has he woken up and said he doesn't want to go to school. Like, he can have a bad day the day before and we can talk about it. He'll, like, the first thing he'll do in the car ride home is spill about everything that went wrong that day. But equally, the next morning, I don't want to go back, which is phenomenal. At this stage, I would say his friends, definitely. Like, it's the idea that that he's made such sort of lifelong friends at this stage. Like, he's grown with them, mainly perhaps because it is a community school at the moment, and a lot of the children are local. And so he has a lot of friends that he will also see after school, or we can hang out with them on the weekend. So that's made it an incredibly safe environment for him. But I also think it's the sense of, again, safety and home that the staff creates, where the children feel comfortable in having their sort of day-to-day disruptions and issues as they will in school. But he'll often talk about, you know, that we had this problem and we've solved it, or Mrs. So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so helped us resolve it, and move on from it. So I feel like he definitely feels very comfortable and very supported, and very much a place where he can be himself and in a safe environment. And I think that is hugely important to us. Like, we've seen his confidence grow as a child, and his ability to want to try new things, eventually grow comfortable in those. And I attribute a lot of that to the school. The values that they instill. I appreciate the fact that there is a lot of academic rigor and a lot of very regular check-ins to see how my child is doing and whether they're performing and meeting expectations or not. But outside of that, so once those issues are dealt with, I really appreciate the fact that there's a strong emphasis on producing and raising socially responsible children. And that means a lot to us because otherwise, those extra sort of values and morals that you want to instill can often fall to the parents alone. And at KCS, that's just not the case. Like it's the same pillars for everyone. It's the same school rules for everyone. And like they're simple, but they are so meaningful. So, respect manners and try your best. Like that's a great way for any of us to live our lives, really. And I love the fact that they're taught that from the beginning. So I would say I appreciate the academic rigor. And I value the fact that they've always done regular check-ins with us and they will step in and provide the extra support or the enrichment where it's valued and needed, and have regular communication with the parent on how the child is progressing. Never have I encountered an episode where I've emailed a teacher for extra information and I haven't been satisfied with the response that I've received. And we're now in our 4th year. So I've experienced a lot of different teachers at the school already. And like my inquiries are always welcome. So that's very, very supportive. But from a producing humans perspective that you're going to send out into the world, the emphasis on just being hardworking, responsible, good people is invaluable for us as a family. Yes, I think it is, prior to the senior school, it's obviously a small building. It's, not like large grounds. It's not a large community. It's a very sort of 400 odd children. But the output is phenomenal for a small school. And I think that was surprising. The fact that they are, not very large, but perform at such a high level. As you sort of start to get to know the school, that was definitely surprising and also very reassuring for someone who wasn't familiar with the school before we joined. I would say that for my sort of the circle that I've met, definitely very like-minded, like very engaged with what their children are doing, very engaged with the community, which also helps because then you're working towards kind of the same ambitions for both the school and for your children. And in my experience, the families that we've come across are definitely all aligned with respect to what they value in education, what they value in terms of a school, and very sort of committed to coming together to the fundraisers, to the welcoming barbecue, whether it's that in the fall or the summer activities. So it's nice to be part of a community that's working towards a common cause, in this case, it being the school. So he's a very creative person, and he definitely really enjoys sort of the different types of musicians that have come in. And he's often like, they have this particular day called Celebrity Day, and he loves to dress up in whatever sort of he's into at the time. And to be able to, like for him, I think one time they had Maestro Fresh. I'm going to say the name wrong if you can help me. It's a Canadian performer. Maestro Fresh was. And so one of the celebrity days, Maestro Fresh was there too. And I think this was a couple of years ago, and my son could only have been 5 or 6. And he was so happy that he had the confidence to get up and dance at the time, with this performer. And, that is like, yes, he might be an innately confident child sometimes, but I do attribute a lot of it back to the school. The fact that he was able to get up in assembly, dance and be himself and not be sort of intimidated by the older kids or anything like that is really impressive. And I attribute that definitely to the school environment that they've created, where the children feel comfortable in just expressing themselves. And also, I think, his dialogue with the teachers is always very open, and that's also impressive, like to have these little people feel like they can approach an adult and express what they're thinking or how they think they want to resolve a problem. So those types of things have been, I think, sometimes we're surprised by how much they are capable of because the school's giving them that responsibility. Very positive always, both administration and with teachers. I feel, again, like I said, there's never been an issue with reaching out, having a query answered. It's like I'm never made to feel like I'm imposing or my responses, I don't receive my responses in a timely way. It's always prompt, always supportive, always informative. And I, like every parent teacher interview, I always leave feeling like I'm putting my child in an amazing environment that's both safe and nurturing, but helping him to grow in a way that suits him and supports him. And that's a phenomenal feeling. I would say it's very forward thinking. It's adaptive for the future and prepares children for the future with the way that they are shaping their pedagogy, with how they want to run the curriculum. It really is putting out into the world children that are capable of being in true innovative and leadership positions through experience. It puts a lot of emphasis on citizenship and being, as I said, socially responsible children and socially responsible adults, which I don't think every school does to the same degree that KCS does. And putting into the world children that are emotionally confident. And I think that's a big, big part of what I like about the school, their emphasis on mental well-being and mindfulness. And it's not something that they've had to do in the last couple of years. It's just been sort of a backbone of the school from the get-go. Thirdly, I would say I found that their approach to the academics and how to meet each child where they are and help them reach their potential is one of the things that I would definitely say I would recommend. One of the reasons I would recommend the school, because each child's potential is different, each child's learning style is different, but I've found them to be incredibly adaptive to meeting those children's needs and ensuring that each child is achieving their potential. And if that means they have to adapt things to meet that child's needs, they do it. And I think that's phenomenal. I would suggest that coming into a school environment where you can confidently say, where you can feel that your child is seen as an individual and attended to as an individual, as opposed to just a child in a class of 20, 30, is really important. And that's one thing that KCS does incredibly well, is they will instill a separate type of confidence in your child, where they will see him or her as an individual. They'll recognize you as an individual family. They'll make the effort to know your child, know you, and get to know you and get to know your child, so that they are really making that child feel confident, comfortable, and secure in that environment. Make that child feel like they're cared for and they're part of a broader community. And I think that sense of belonging that KCS creates is honestly priceless. So that would be one of the things that I would want to tell the families, is that if you're looking to put out not only bright and capable children, but also thoughtful, kind, confident children, then KCS is the place for you.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.